Hey, Susan Teeple back with us this afternoon to take us on a trip of a lifetime to, and you're teach me how to say this correctly.
Chile.
Chile. Chile. So you guys went down there, how many days?
We were there 10. It was a long trip because it's a long way to go. Really, when you think about Chile, you think about South America just being right below us, and yes, I do know my geography, but you're in New York's time zone, and you really are flying this direction. It's an easy flight out of Houston to Santiago, but once you get there, just make yourself at home, because when you go to Chile, it's the most narrow and long country ever.
Really?
And so going from one part to another could be a 6-hour flight. So
just because it is so,
its widest point, I think, or most narrow point is 200 miles across. It's a very skinny country.
Okay. So on this is one of the great things about being a travel agent and kind of doing, you take the trips for us and then come back and report.
I have to do my research, my reconnaissance. Yes.
So give us the scoop.
My family's so my family, we're very active.
Yes.
And I feel like most people with teenage kids, I have teenagers, they want to be active. They don't want to just go and sit down and have the kids still on their phones. They want to engage.
Right.
So to me, we first started in kind of the central, I'm going to say this right, archipelago. I always say it wrong.
Well, no,
Castro region of Chile. We spent 2 nights there. That was kind of a lake region, and we kind of explored all the little islands off the Pacific. Absolutely incredible, very undiscovered. This is Patagonia, though. So then we spent 5 nights in Patagonias, and those are guanacos. And they're these beautiful creatures with these long eyelashes. They kind of reminded me of the camel's eyelashes, but stunning. They're very, very friendly, except if there's a puma around, then they're going to hightail it. But these are glacial lakes that are just the most exceptional colors. This is no filter. So it's their summer when it's during our winter. So that was why it was a good time to go, because otherwise you're basically at the Patagonia is just the next stop is Antarctica. So this is the best time to go. It's probably maybe late November to kind of mid-February to March.
Okay.
Spring break's still good. This is my kids in exploring the islands in central Chile. They loved it. We had a wonderful day out on a boat, and we just went around and we did some hikes, and the Chilean people are so friendly. The food is exceptional. They have a wonderful, stable economy. There are a few little protests right now in Santiago, but honestly, with teenage kids, we felt very, very safe. When we had one night in Santiago, because all the Chileans very much agree. Oh, the penguins? Okay, so you land in Punta Arenas, and then you take I think it's a 2-hour boat ride, and there you see one of the largest penguin colonies outside of Antarctica.
Wow.
Yes, they're so cute. They're little tuxedos.
Idea. I mean, I've always known about Patagonia, and obviously.
Oh, there is that. Well, and there's this. So you can see some of the graffiti that was in Santiago, and I feel like sometimes we, especially in West Texas, we get parts of the news that says, "Oh, there's a civil unrest in Chile." It was fascinating to my college-age son. Found the whole process really interesting, because most Chileans support the protests and that just expanding social services. But I think that your travel can expand your horizons and your understandings, and don't be afraid if there's just a few protests. It was very safe.
Sometimes we need to be stretched and taken out of our comfort zone.
Absolutely. Well, and I will say that's one thing about Patagonia is everybody thinks of it as like the brand. It is hiking galore, but there's kayaking, there's glacier hiking, there's strolls. There's something for everybody. So don't be afraid if you think like I'm not physical enough to go to Patagonia. There's boat rides.
I feel like I want you to book the trip for me right now.
I know.
So listen, reach out to our good friend Susan Teeple. She'll get you taken care of. There is her website. The places that we go when we hang out with Susan Teeple. All right, when we come back, how a group of young Amarillo leaders is coming together to elevate the city. Don't go anywhere.